Hello, Algebra 2. Today is October 28th. We're going to do a review of homework number 28 and homework number 30. So if you could take those two pieces of paper out, homework number 28 and homework number 30. You can hit pause if you need a minute to go get that. Okay, so for tonight, please upload any missing work to the digital workbook and email Ms. Fairbanks or Ms. Artofer to regrade your workbook and to update your grade in Aries. So the triad closes next week. One more triad to the end of first semester, and that's when you'll be issued your final grade for this class. So please keep up on your work. Excuse me. You can hit pause if you need to get your homework. Okay, so this was homework number 28. It's out of the Algebra 2 textbook, page 71. And these are the pictures of the graphs that you should have gotten. So for this homework, you're expected to show a table of values work. That's where you plug it in work. In order to receive points. So watch the rest of the video for help on what work to show to receive points. If you just draw these graphs and upload it, you will not receive any points for this work because we expected you to do some math, and I'll show you what that is, okay? Watch the video here. Okay, so this is number 5. You can see that right here. So it's the same as this one. Oops. So this number 5, I just made it bigger on the next screen. There it is. And then I'm going to show you the work that you need to do for each of these problems in order to get points. And you need to show your work. For the table of values. And I'll show you what that is. Okay, so you're going to write down the function. It's absolute value x minus 1 plus 3. And then we're going to take each of these numbers, one at a time. So we're going to take each of those numbers and we're going to plug it in for x, one at a time. Whatever we get, we'll put the numbers over here. So I'm just reviewing a real quick way to think about how to do a T-chart. Put the numbers over here, and then you take those two numbers and you make the dot on the grid to make the graph. Okay, so let's do that. So we're going to plug in, and this is the work I expect you to show. So I'm going to write this plus 3. I'm going to write this plus 3. I'm going to write it this many times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Absolute value plus 3. That way it's easier for me, and I'm more accurate. And there's going to be a minus 1 in the inside. And now in this empty spot, oh, you can't see that very well, can you? Let me get rid of that. Let's try this one. In this empty spot, I'm going to plug in the x value from over here. So the first one's going to be a 3, the second one will be a 2, then a 1, then a 0, and then a negative 1. So I'm going to plug it in. So I wrote the whole problem down. Absolute value minus 1 plus 3. Absolute value minus 1 plus 3. And now I'm going to plug in those numbers. It just makes it easier for me to be accurate. I think it's a good way for you guys to do your work too. Okay, so I'll plug this 3 in first. Can't seem to pick up my pen here. I'm sorry. There we go. And I lost my X. Hold on, I want to put it back. All right. So I'm going to plug in a 3. Then I'm going to plug in a 2. Then I'm going to plug in a 1. And I'm going to plug in a 0. And then I'm going to plug in a negative 1. And then I'm going to do the math for each one. Okay. Let's see, what color can I use here? Okay, so we're going to do this first. 3 minus 2 is 2. Absolute value of 2, oops, It's too small. That would be a 2, right? Oh, yeah, from my eraser. Right here it would be a 2. So it asks you, what's the absolute value of 2 plus 3? Absolute value is 2 plus 3 would be 5. So right here we're going to put a 5. Okay, what's 2 minus 1 in the inside? That would be the absolute value of 1 plus 3. Well, that would be equal to 1 plus 3, it would be equal to 4. The next one minus 1 right here. That would be the absolute value of 0 plus 3. Well, the absolute value of 0 is 0 plus 3 would be 3. The next one, 0 minus 1 is the absolute value of negative 1. What's the absolute value of negative 1? It's positive 1 plus 3 would be equal to 4. So the absolute value of a negative 1, if you can see off on the side here, is equal to positive 1. Okay, the next one. All right, next one. Negative 1 minus 1 more is the absolute value of negative 2 plus 3. What's the absolute value of negative 2? It's equal to a positive 2. So this would become 2 plus 3, so that equals 5. Oh, I forgot to put this one here, 4 and 5. Okay, so for every problem, number 1 and 2 on the other page, you must show your work just like this in order to receive points, okay? And then all you do is you think of these as points. So usually we write a point like this, 3 comma 5 for the first one, right? That's the x and this is the y. So you go over 3 because it's positive 3, and you go over 3 to the right. And the y is, that's for the x. X moves left or right. And then the y is 5, so then you go up 5 on the y-axis. Okay? So I'm going to start in the middle, count 1, 2, 3, and then up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's right at the top. And then the next one, so we did this one. So the next one is over 2, up 4. So over 2, up 1, 2, 3, 4. The next one is 1 comma 3, over 1, up 1, 2, 3. The 0 is sometimes hard for kids, so I'm going to wait on this one, and I'm going to do this one next. I'm going to go to the middle, so negative 1 comma 5. So it's going to be over 1 to the left because it's a negative number, right? And then up 5. So we're going to go for this last one, negative 1, 5. We're going to go left 1, up 5. 1, left 1, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's come back to 0, 4. Where is the point going to go? Because sometimes I get kids who will put a dot over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is wrong. Should not be on that 4. Because it's not anywhere on the graph. You know it needs to be V-shaped. It's 0, don't move, up 4. It lands right on the V. Oops, I didn't go up 4. I went up. There we go. 0, up 4. And then you got yourself a V shape. So this is the vertex. Whoops, I hit my erase on accident. Draw your line straight with arrows on the end and make your V. That's the best I can do without a ruler, which I can't use on my tablet. So I expect yours nice and neat, okay? All right. I do make big exaggerated dots like that, and I would like you to do that. Now, when you get to college, you won't do that. If you choose to move into pre-calculus next year, you'll have to check with your teacher. But for me and Miss Fairbanks, could you please make your dots big and exaggerated because it's easier for me to grade? I can't speak for Miss Fairbanks, but I need for my eyes for you to make big dots, okay? So please go and look at your homework and make all the dots big for me, okay? All right, so this is the homework work that you're expected to show for each of the problems on this paper. So this was homework number 28. I did number 5 for you. So make sure your work is shown for number 1 and number 2, and then upload that to your digital workbook. If you still don't understand how to do this, then let me and Miss Fairbanks know, and we'll arrange intervention time, okay? All right, I'm going to move on. The next homework is homework number 30. And so we were using this formula for number 30. And then if you can just check yourselves, what do each of these things mean? Check yourselves. Do you really remember what they mean? So this was negative, opens down. Positive, opens up. I'm just reviewing. A, if it's a regular number, then it gets narrower. I'll just say narrow and narrower. And we call that stretch. So that's the word you need. And the graph would look like thin. Thinner than our normal absolute value. So that would be for a regular number. So there's one option. The second option, if it's a fraction, we're talking about A now, right? I'm talking about, I'm pointing towards A. So a fraction, and the graph gets wider. So it's more stretched out, kind of like that. Put the vertex in on these. That's not the best vertex. There we go. And then this would be called a shrink. So if the A number is a regular number like a 3 or a 4 or a 7, if it's a fraction number like 1/2 or 2/3, then it gets wider. Okay, H is always counterintuitive. There's that fancy word. That means opposite of what you think. I'm going to put what you see. So if you see a negative, so it would be option 1. If you see a negative, it moves right. There we go. And if it's a positive, it moves left, which is opposite of what you think. I'm just going to draw this really quick. So if this is the XY coordinate plane, these are positive numbers. Like here's 3. Here's -3. So if you see a negative, most kids would think, move that way, move left, but it's opposite. If kids were to see a positive number right here, positive, they would think to go to the right, but nope, it goes to the left. So that's what I mean about it being opposite. Okay? Over here, these move left or right. This moves up or down. Up for positive. Well, that makes sense. If it's a positive number, it goes up, right, to the positives, and down for negative. And that makes sense because if you go downwards, you get the negative numbers, right? So the K is not counterintuitive. Only H is counterintuitive. Opposite of what you see, okay? All right. So you should have used these words on the next homework. So you were supposed to say either opens up or down. You were supposed to say either stretch or shrink. You were supposed to say moves right, moves left, or moves up or moves down. That's what the next homework was for. And I'm going to emphasize again that this is very important that you learn. Sometimes you can just draw pictures. I've had students do that as well. So let me show you that. There's another way to memorize this kind of thing instead of all those words. I'll just make sure I pick up a different color. Okay. Some kids, and I'm just going to erase my arrows because you can always rewind this if you need to look at those arrows, okay? Some kids go like this, and they go up or down. And here, they might go really wide and really narrow. And here, they might go who's left or right. And here, they might go who's up or down. So there's a visual picture of what we just talked about. This one is opens up or down. This is wider or narrower. This is moves left or right. And at the end is moves up and down, right? So the first one was opens up or down, shrinks or stretches, left or right, up or down. So that's another way for you to memorize your notes. You know, they would put up, down. They would put shrink, stretch. They would put right, left. And then sometimes they would draw an eyeball. Oh, we don't want a red eyeball. Let's make a regular eyeball. Why are you drawing an eyeball, Miss Artopher? I'll show you. I don't know what color. I don't really. Oh, I guess this is pretty good. They would draw an eyeball with eyelashes because it's a funny looking eyeball, but it's a Halloween eyeball because it's counterintuitive, opposite of what you see. So some of my students would write an eyeball there, and then this one was obviously up or down. This thing, you should put opens up or down on the front. So that's another way to do that. Do you know why I'm emphasizing this? You have to know it. Okay, so here was the homework for number 30. If you didn't do this, could you just pause the video and try it on your own? Or maybe watch the first one and then pause the video and try it on your own? Because copying Miss Artopher doesn't help you learn. Sometimes if you do it on your own and if you get it wrong, then when you watch someone do it the right way, that's how you learn better, okay? Okay, so for this one, it's either a shrink or a stretch. Since it's a regular number, then this is going to be a stretch. So that means when I come over here to the fraction, this is going to be a shrink. Then I have this negative. That means it's going to reflect, or reflection. It's a regular 3, so it'll be just like this one up here. It'll be a stretch. Over here, I just have a hidden -1. Just stands for -1. So that's a reflection. And then I'm going to move on. I'll change colors. I know that this number is just up or down. So +9 moves up 9. This one will be moves down 5. This will be moves up 7. And this will be moves down 1. Now this one, if you look at your notes, it'll say a positive moves it left. But really think about it. A positive on the x-axis, it moves it to its opposite. You're thinking -4. So this moves left 4. So you see -8, but you think positive, and positive moves to the right. So moves right 8. This one is opposite. So you see -2, but you don't write left for -2. So you think +2. So that's moves right 2. And this one, you see +3, but don't go to the right. You got to think opposite, counterintuitive of what your eyeball sees. So moves, because you think -3 and negatives are to the left, moves left 3. Okay, there you go. You can hit pause if you need to. Thank you very much, you guys. You have a great day. I don't know if I have anything on the next slide. Let me check. Nope. Okay, that's it for today. Make sure you upload your work to the digital workbook. Thank you and have a great day.